Hello my dear students of class 11 science, so welcome to biology class. Today we are going to learn about the most important topic regarding examinations from the chapter body fluids and circulations. Okay, and even this chapter we have learned in class 10 in details, so I am just going to cover one of the most important topic that is important in terms of the examination. So we are going to learn about the blood groups and blood transfusion. So all of us has a clear idea about the blood grouping mechanism. Okay, so here I was just going to learn in detail about this blood grouping and the blood transfusion reactions, and we also discuss about the blood clumping also. Clear? So ABO blood grouping system. Now, why do we call it ABO blood grouping system? Because we have got the four type blood group, that is blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB and O. So we used to call it ABO blood grouping system. Okay, so this particular ABO blood grouping system was mainly discovered by Karl Landsteiner. So kindly remember the name of the scientist. Okay, Karl Landsteiner. He discovered the ABO blood grouping system in human being. Clear? So glycoproteins called antigens or agglutinogens are present on the surface of RBC. In class 10 we have learned that the sugars are present on the surface of the RBC. So mainly they are called antigens. So antigens or agglutinogens are present on the surface of RBC, and in the blood plasma we have got antibodies or agglutinins. So gamma globulin proteins in the blood plasma called antibodies or agglutinins are present. Okay, so we have got antigens on the surface of the RBC, and mainly in the blood plasma we have got antibodies. So based on the presence of these antigens and antibody, Karl Landsteiner discovered the ABO blood grouping system in case of human being. Now there are two types of antigens and two types of antibodies. Okay, so the two types of antigens are, listen very carefully over here, the two types of antigens are antigen A and B, that is capital A and capital B, and for each antigens we have got a particular antibody. So we have got two types of antibody, that is antibodies A and antibody B. Okay, now so based on the presence or the absence of these antigens, so human bloods have been classified into the following four types. So persons with blood group A, they have got antigen A. Okay, persons with antigen B, they have got blood group B. Persons with antigen A and antigen B, they belong to the blood group AB, and without antigen they belong to blood group O. So these are the four types of blood group depending on the presence or absence of antigens. So if the individual has got the antigen A, then they have blood group A. If they have got antigen B, they have got blood group B. If they have got antigen A and antigen B, then they belong to blood group AB, and if they have no antigen, then they belong to blood group O. So this we'll learn in details afterwards. Okay, now that means what type of antibodies are present in that case, we'll discuss it afterwards. Now let's talk about the antigens and the antibody interaction, which is the most important one. Okay, so persons with one antigen have natural antibody in the plasma against their antigen. That is, listen very carefully, that means in case of blood group A, we have learned that the antigens will be A. Okay, so persons with antigen A have antibody for antigen B in their plasma, which is represented as anti-B. That means those individuals who have got blood group A, listen very carefully, those individuals with blood group A, they have got antigen A, but they used to have antibody B, which is called anti-B. And those individuals with blood group B, they have got antigen B, but antibody will be A or anti-A. Okay, now persons with both the antigens, antigen A and antigen B, they don't have antibodies. Clear? One more time, that is persons with both the antigens, antigen A and antigen B, they don't have antibodies. Whereas person with no antigens, they have got both antibody, anti-A and anti-B. Clear this one? So kindly go through it. Okay, now we'll talk about the clumping reaction. It's very important. Okay, what do you mean by clumping reaction? Last time we learned about the antigen and the antibody interactions. Now we're going to learn about the clumping reactions. So you said that antigen A and antibody A are incompatible. That is true, because antibody will be specific. Okay, so here what we're learning is that those individuals who have got blood group A, they have got antigen A and they have got antibody B. Now those who have got antigen B, they have got antibody A. Clear? So here you can figure out that antigen A, blood group A, and antibody A, blood group B, they are incompatible. Now why they are incompatible? If you kindly look over here closely, you can see that the antigen is A, which is present on the blood group A, and antibody A is present on the blood group B. So during blood transfusion, when we give the blood group B to the recipient having the blood group A, then the antibody A will work against the antigen A. So there will be antibody-antigen reactions because they are not incompatible. That's why during blood transfusion, the recipient, suppose let's say the recipient has blood group A, so the recipient has to receive the blood group A only from the donor. It will be compatible. But by mistake, if we give the blood group B to the recipient having the blood group A, then antibody A will work against the antigen A and there will be clumping reactions. And similarly, we can say that antigen B and antibody B are also incompatible. That means we cannot give the blood group A to the recipient having the blood group B, or we cannot give the blood group B to the recipient having the blood group A. In that case, the antigen and antibody reaction occurs. Okay, because blood from different blood groups A and B will be mixed and there will be antigen antibody reactions and clumping will occur, and this is called clumping reaction or agglutination, and this is very, very important. And in that case also, due to clumping reactions or due to agglutinations of the blood, the recipient may die or may suffer serious consequences. Okay, so that's why during blood transfusion the blood matching needs to be done. Clear? Okay, so you will talk about blood transfusions. So because of clumping reactions or agglutination reactions, transfusion of blood between individuals or different AB blood groups result in clumping. Alright, so transfusion will fail in large quantity of blood of different blood types introduced. Obviously, if you give the blood group B to blood group A, then there will be clumping reactions. So therefore, in small cases, okay, in case small quantities of bloods are introduced, then blood transfusion is successful only if the plasma of recipient blood does not contain antibody against the donor antigens, or the donor blood has no antigen. So here will comes with the blood group O. It means blood from the group O can be given to persons of all the 4 blood groups. Why? The question comes over here. Why does the individuals with the blood group O can give the blood or can donate the blood to all the other 4 blood groups? Because the blood group O does not have antigens, and in the absence of antigens in the blood group O, there will be no clumping reactions or there will be no antigen antibody reactions. So therefore the persons with the blood group O are called universal donor. If you look over here, you can see over here that the blood group O, okay, antigens on RBC, there is no antigens, but they have got both the antibody A and antibody B. So since the blood group O does not have any type of antigen A or antigen B, so it can be given to persons of all the 4 blood groups. That means blood group A, blood group B, even to the blood group AB also it can be given. So that's why the blood group O is called universal donor. Clear? Then comes the next one, which is called the universal recipient. So just now we have talked about the universal donor. Now we will talk about the universal recipient. Now the persons with blood group AB, they are called universal recipient. Why? Because they have no antibody in their blood. So if you look over here, the individuals having the blood group AB, they have got both the antigens, antigen A and antigen B, but they don't have antibody. Okay, so since the individuals with the blood group AB, they don't have antibody in their blood, so they can receive blood from A, from B or even from the O or AB itself. So therefore they are called universal recipients. So blood group O is called universal donor because they don't have antigen, whereas blood group AB is called universal recipient because they have no antibody in their blood and they can receive blood from all the other 4 blood groups. Clear? Okay, now let's talk about the basics of blood transfusion. The person who gives blood is called the donor, who receives the blood is called recipient. And for the blood transfusion, the blood group of the donor and the recipient needs to be matched. They must be compatible. And in incompatible blood transfusions, the antigens of the donor bloods will be attacked by the antibody of the recipient blood. Okay, and this will cause the clumping reactions or agglutination. The antibody in the plasma of a person do not react with antigens on the RBC of the same person. It means those blood transfusions are the most successful where the donors and the recipient blood groups are the same. That means the proper blood matching has to be there before blood transfusions. Because if we talk about the blood group B, okay, suppose I've got blood group B, that means my RBC has got the antigen B and has got antibody A. So anti-A will not work against the antigen B. Clear? But if I receive the blood group A from the recipient 1, then my antibody A will work against the antigen A, and there will be blood clumping reactions or agglutination reactions. So before blood transfusions, there must be proper matching of the blood groups. Clear? Okay, then to go with this one. Okay, so blood group A, they have got antigen A, antibody B. So as donor, they can give blood to blood group A and AB. Okay, so blood group A, those individuals with the blood group A, they can donate blood to the individuals having blood group A and AB. Alright, and they can receive the blood from A and O because O is the universal donor. Blood group B, they have got antigen B, antibody A. So they can give the blood to the recipient having the blood group B and AB, and they can receive the blood from blood group B and O. Now let's talk about blood group AB. They have got antigen A and antigen B, but they don't have antibody. Okay, so AB is compatible with AB blood group only. Clear? But as a recipient, donor, that means AB can give blood to AB only, but as a recipient, AB, A, B, AB and O compatible with all the blood groups. It's called universal recipient. You can receive all the blood groups. O, no antigens, but both the antibody, anti and anti-B. So donor, A, B, AB and O compatible with all the blood groups. So O can donate the blood to all the other blood groups, so it's called universal donor. But recipient, O compatible with O blood group only. Okay, so O can receive the blood from O blood group only. Incompatible with A, AB and B. Incompatible means mismatching. They can receive the blood from A, AB and B. Okay, so kindly go with the table number 18.2 also. Now we will just talk about the RH factor because we know we have got blood group positive or negative. So this positive or the negative blood groups depends on the presence of RH factor or the rhesus factor. So RH positive persons have RH antigens, while those who are RH negative, they don't have the RH antigens. Clear? And RH negative persons do not have natural antibody against RH antigens. Now RH blood group system was discovered by Lensteiner and Wiener in 1940. Now RH antigen is formed by dominant R gene, and mainly this particular RH factor was formed mainly was found in the rhesus monkey also. Okay, now RH antigens is formed by dominant R gene, therefore the RH positive persons may have genotype dominant RR, which is homozygous, or it might be heterozygous, capital R, small r. And those who are RH negative, they have got recessive genotype, that is small r, which is homozygous. So when RH negative blood is given to RH negative persons, the transfusions will be successful. And similarly, when the RH positive blood is given to the RH positive recipient, then the transfusions will be successful. There will be no problem. But when the RH positive blood is given to the RH negative persons, then there will be immunogenic responses because anti-RH antibody will develop in the blood of the RH negative recipient. Okay, and the second transfusion of RH positive blood to such a person result in clumping of donor's blood. Cells called RH antibody, and these things we are going to learn about by the RH incompatibility during pregnancy. This we have learned in class 9 also. Okay, so very carefully. So during pregnancy, if the fetus, very carefully, if the fetus is RH positive, listen very carefully. Okay, during pregnancy, if the fetus is RH positive and the mother is Rh negative. That means the mother is Rh negative and the developing fetus is Rh positive. At this time, in the first pregnancy, there will be formation of antibody in the mother's blood. Clear? So during the first pregnancy, enough antibodies are not produced, so there will be no harm to the fetus. Clear? But during the second pregnancy, let's say again the fetus is Rh positive. At that time, more antibodies will be formed against the Rh positive antigens, and in that case, the last number of RBCs of the fetus will be destroyed due to clumping. Okay, and this will cause hemolysis of blood in the fetus, resulting in erythroblastosis fetalis or hemolytic jaundice or anemia in the newborn. So listen very carefully. We're talking about Rh incompatibility during pregnancy. So the fetus is Rh positive, mother is Rh negative. So at first pregnancy, enough antibodies will not be produced in the mother's body or in the mother's blood to fight against the Rh positive antigen. So there will be no harm to the fetus during the first pregnancy. There will be normal delivery without any complications. But again during the second pregnancy, if the fetus will be Rh positive, then enough antibody will be produced in the mother's blood that will destroy the RBC of the fetus, leading to the clumping, and this will cause the hemolysis of the blood, which is also called erythroblastosis fetalis or hemolytic jaundice or anemia in the newborn. Now, how to prevent this? So to prevent this, Rh negative female or the mother with Rh positive husband is injected with Rogan or Rh immunoglobulin during all pregnancy. So that means the female or the mother needs to be injected with Rogam, RHGM Rogam or Rh immunoglobulin during all pregnancy. So by this way we can prevent the Rh incompatibilities during the pregnancy. Okay, so Rh factor is one of the most important factor beside the presence of antigen A or antigen B in our blood groups. So depending on the Rh factor, we have got the blood group positive or the negative. Okay, now we'll discuss few of the disorders or the diseases of the circulatory system. So first one is high blood pressure, called hypertension also. Okay, so in case resting blood pressure, the normal blood pressure has to be remain about 140/90 mm of Hg. Sorry, it may be has to be around 80 to 120 normal. Okay, so in case resting blood pressure remains persistently above 140/90, so if the blood pressure remains above 140/90 in resting condition, has to nearly by 80/120 mm Hg or 120/80 mm Hg. But in this case, if it will be above 120, let's say it will be 140/90 mm Hg, then it is called hypertension or the high blood pressure. Okay, and it's in more than 10% of the middle-aged persons. So persistent anxiety, excitement, anger, any other emotional stress or nervous tension leads to hypertension. Okay, and in addition, arteriosclerosis, the hardening of the wall of the artery, and atheroma, the atherosclerosis or the narrowing of the artery and the arterioles are the two diseases responsible for hypertension. And we have learned that mainly during the old age, the wall of the artery becomes rigid and the blood will has to flow with the higher pressure. So there will be mainly those people at the older age, they will suffer from high blood pressure. So normal blood pressure needs to be around 80/120 mm Hg. But if it goes beyond this one, let's say by 140/90, then it's called hypertension. And if it goes below by this point, 80/120, but below this point, it's called hypotension. Clear? Next one is CAD, coronary artery disease. Now what do you mean by coronary artery disease? So coronary artery disease is caused due to disorders in the blood supply to the cardiac muscles. So CAD, that means coronary artery disease, is caused due to the disorder in the blood supply to the cardiac muscles by the coronary artery. Now this will happen due to the narrowing of the wall of the artery or the blockage of this artery. Okay, and we have got two diseases under this one: angina pectoris or the heart block, and the cardiac failure or the heart failure. So angina pectoris means a severe pain in the heart and the chest that results in the left arm. Okay, so angina is mainly caused by the atherosclerosis, by narrowing of the artery and the arterioles. Okay, so due to the narrow of the blocked coronary artery, the cardiac muscles will not get enough oxygens, and deprived of the oxygens, cardiac muscles experience constricting pain similar to the pain in leg muscles after a long run or fast walk. Okay, and this angina pain initially passes off quickly, but it is a warning of heart attack. So heart fatigue means when the heart stops pumping blood effectively to meet the needs of the body. Okay, heart failure or the cardiac failure means the heart will stop pumping blood effectively to meet the needs of the body. Clear? And it is mostly due to the congestion of the lungs, and congestive heart failure is different from the cardiac arrest when heart stops beating or heart attack. So remember what we mean by CAD and what is high blood pressure. So this much from this chapter, and whatever we have done in this chapter is very important in terms of examination. So prepare well for examinations. All the best, and to study well, and see you in this school. Okay, to study well. Thank you.